Hello everyone. I am Dr. Anindra Chakravarti, Assistant Professor at Institute of Management Studies, Banaras Hindu University. I bring to you the course on investment management. And today we are starting with the first topic, that is Introduction to Investment Management. Let me take you to the flow of this particular course. The week 1, we are introducing to the securities and different alternatives of financial instruments. The week 2, we are focusing on the regulatory frameworks that are SEBI, RBI, and different regulatory bodies who are focusing or taking care of the investment management in India. In third week, we are focusing on the risk and return, that is the security analysis portion we are starting with. In week 4, we are focusing on valuation of securities, that is specifically to equity shares. And week 5, we are focusing on valuation of bonds. Week 6, we are taking further security analysis with the introduction of fundamental analysis, which covers 3 components: economic analysis, industry analysis, and company analysis. The week 7, we are focusing on technical analysis, where we are going to introduce you to different technical tools that helps technical analysts to take care of the investment, along with the charting techniques. Week 8 is introduction of portfolio analysis, or we can say the portfolio management portion, with introduction of efficient market hypothesis. Week 9, we are focusing on modern portfolio theory, that is the modern portfolio theory, we can say. It's a theory which basically focuses on how portfolios are managed by individuals or fund managers. Week 10, we are focusing on the asset pricing theory, and mainly we are focusing on capital asset pricing theory in week 10. In week 11, we will continue with Farmer-French portfolio theories and other like arbitrage pricing theory. In week 11, we are finally evaluating whether the portfolio which we have made is actually working according to our expectation or not. So we are going to evaluate the portfolio with the help of different techniques, and finally, if it requires that, we'll go for the portfolio revision. So this is the overall introduction of our course. So now let's start with the first lecture, that is Introduction and Overview of Investment and Securities. So in the first lecture, we are going to focus on the background of investment, that means what we understand by investment and what is security. Then we go to the definition of investment, types of investment that are available, why we invest or why individuals invest in stock market, what is the nature of investment decision, the characteristics of investment, and finally the objectives of investment. Let us discuss this particular concept with some examples. A lecturer purchasing 100 shares. Suppose a farmer purchase 100 acre of land. A young employee taken a loan of 50 lakhs to purchase a house at Bangalore. So all the 3 examples are focusing on different aspects of investment. A lecturer purchasing 100 shares. Share is a financial instrument. A farmer purchasing 100 acre of land, that is a real estate. And an employee purchasing a house, again a particular type of real estate. So these are certain financial instruments where an individual are investing. But when we start with the concept of investment, we don't know whether it is investment or any other thing. So we need to understand this basic concept very clearly. When we talk about investment, it is very important to understand where a person starts the investing. When we talk about the lecturer, he is obviously getting some salary, and from that salary, whatever he is saving, he is investing that money. So there comes 2 concepts, that is income and saving. Then what about the other aspect? There are certain consumptions also. So that means the expenditure. So income minus expenditure is your saving. So this saving is actually goes into the financial market. With the help of different type of financial instruments. Like we already discussed in previous slide, we talk about shares, we talk about real estate, we talk about other financial instruments. So when this particular saving goes through the financial market, or we can say in broader term the financial system, we are basically focusing on investment. So suppose a person like housewives, they basically put the money in their almirahs. So that is not a saving. That is because the person is only saving, that is not investment. So when we want to understand what is investment, what is saving, what is expenditure, we need to explain this particular definition. That income, whatever the person is earning, whether he is a salaried person, whether he is a businessman, whether he is a student also, they are also getting pocket money. And whatever amount they are spending in different household activities or any other expenses, that amount will be deducted from the income, and whatever is left, that is termed as saving. When this saving goes into the financial system with the help of different financial market or different financial instruments, we call it investment. Let me explain this in broader term. So there is investment, there is earning, there is spending, and whatever is left is called saving. So there are several alternatives. What are the alternatives? Like bonds, post office saving schemes, FDs, RDs, shares, debentures. Nowadays we talk about cryptocurrency a lot. So these are the alternatives where an individual can invest their money. Now coming to earnings, when we have earning, we already said that there are some expenditure. So expenditure can be of two types, that is current consumption expenditure or deferred consumption expenditure. Let me take this particular concept in a deeper way. Current consumption expenditure, like suppose a household is there, a person is earning, and whatever he is earning, he is spending some amount on his household grocery, household expenses like maid, school fees of his children. So these are the current consumption requirement. What about the deferred consumption? Suppose you want to purchase a car. For that, he is saving certain amount in form of FD. That becomes a deferred consumption of that particular individual. Why it is termed deferred? Because he is transferring the present consumption need for the future, because he required a huge amount of money to purchase that particular car, or suppose he wants to purchase a house, he don't have that money at present. So for that purpose he is saving certain amount from whatever amount is left. That is, from the saving portion, whatever amount is left, he is putting some amount for purchasing a car, certain amount in purchasing shares, or putting amount in SIPs or any other thing. So there are two consumption requirements, one is current and one is deferred. Now saving is preserving the value of money, another important concept. Every time we talk about investment, we talk about the time value of money, or we can say the value of money. With the passage of time, the value of money deteriorates. For example, we can say that our grandparents used to say we purchase certain things at 1 paise. But nowadays 1 paise is not available. In fact, the value of 1 paise is nothing at present. Similarly, we have purchased a pencil of 1 rupee around 1990s. But nowadays a pencil cost around, suppose we are talking about 2024, a pencil cost around 3 to 5 rupees. From 1 rupee to 3 to 5 rupees, that means the value of money deteriorates. What 1 rupee can purchase at 1990s, at 1 rupee we cannot purchase a pencil right now. So with the passage of time, the value of money deteriorates, and that's why putting the money in almirah is not going to give us any benefit. We need to invest in different alternatives. Saving become investment when they enter the financial market. As I already mentioned, the financial market comprises of 4 major components. Financial system, it's financial markets, financial institutions, financial services and financial instruments. So we need to understand all these concepts, and these concepts will be elaborated later on, but for understanding it, financial market, that is the capital market, stock market we can say, as well as the forex market, debt market or the government security market. These are the major component of financial markets where financial instruments are traded. Financial institutions like RBI, banks, mutual fund companies, the insurance companies, these are the financial institutions. They are providing financial services to their customers or clients. Financial services basically provided by the financial institutions. What do you understand by financial services? Financial services are basically the brokerage services, the forfeiting services, the hire and purchase services. There are a variety of services that are provided to variety of clients according to their need or requirements. Now coming to financial instruments, there are many financial instruments available in the stock market. It's starting from shares, debentures, bonds, FDs, RDs, SIP, mutual funds, then cryptocurrency, hybrid instruments like future options. There are many instruments available. Depending upon the nature and requirement of the investor, they can select their financial instrument. So saving become investment when we enter into the financial system. What does financial system do? They play an intermediary between these particular components of financial system and the individual. Or the individual may be you and I, means normal investors, or they can be government institutions, or they can be business houses. So these are the individuals who invest in this different financial instruments with the help of this financial system. So investing involves taking one more risk with reward to the different types of investment in the hope of earning greater returns. Investing is allocating money into financial or real estates to increase the future value. What is future value? Since I am investing at present and compromising my present consumption need, that means I need certain reward in future because I am sacrificing my present consumption needs, and for this we require a return in future. Now let's move to what is the definition of investment. So it is defined that investment is a current commitment of rupee for a period of time. There are two concepts: current commitment, period of time, in order to derive future payment that will compensate the investor. Compensate for what? First, try to understand this particular line. Current commitment. Current commitment means I am sacrificing my present consumption needs. Suppose I am starting with an SIP of 3,000 rupees and my total salary is suppose 50,000 rupees. From that I am compromising 3,000 rupees for SIP. With that 3,000 rupees I can spend or do any other thing which I am interested in, but I am sacrificing it. So my present commitment that I will continue depositing 3,000 rupees for n number of years. Then period of time, n number of years I have mentioned, but period of time need to be mentioned again. So we cannot go for infinity. We have to define I need to invest suppose 3,000 rupees per month for around 5 years. So that is the period of time I am committing for. Then comes the future payment. I am depositing 3,000 rupees per month for 5 years. It will be a huge amount after 5 years, but for that I need certain benefits. So future payment, that means my principal amount must be safe, plus I should get certain amount of interest or return on that particular investment. That will compensate the investor. Because I am sacrificing, I need some compensation. Otherwise, what I am going to do? I am going to do it whatever I am interested in. Suppose I am interested in purchasing a dress or purchasing a book, I am going to invest that money or use that money. But I am sacrificing my present consumption need and depositing it in the different financial instrument, and for that purpose I require certain amount of guarantee or certain amount of compensation from that particular instrument. So there are three concepts related to it. Time the funds are committed for, longer the time period, we expect more return on that instrument. Expected rate of inflation, another important concept. Since rate of inflation goes on increasing year by year, the investor also required a compensation for that, because he don't know whatever, as I already mentioned in my previous slide, that time, with the passage of time, the value of money deteriorates, that is the time value of money. For that particular thing, just because of inflation, the purchasing power of the individual goes on decreasing, and for that particular thing, the individual requires a return on that investment. Another important thing is uncertainty of future payment. Nobody guarantees that this much amount you are going to get in future, because whatever amount the particular financial institution or particular financial instruments are clubbing together, they are investing in different financial instrument again. So they are getting certain amount of return, but they don't know what is going to happen in next 5 years. Since the market are ever changing, it's more dynamic nowadays, so we don't know what is going to happen next. But we expect a certain amount of guarantee from our financial instrument, that they should provide us this much return at least. Thus it involves making of a sacrifice in present with the hope of deriving future benefit. So we can say that why we invest? We invest because we are presently sacrificing our money, and we hope that in future we get better benefits. Thus two important features of investment are current sacrifice and future benefit. Moving further, types of investment. There are varieties of financial instrument, but we need to understand what are they. They are divided into two categories, that is financial instrument and economic instrument. When we talk about financial instrument, we are focusing on deploying the amount in financial instruments where we can get interest, dividend, bonus or retirement benefits. So these are the instruments which generate income for the individual investor. Suppose I am investing in share, I am getting dividend in return, I am investing in bonds, I am getting interest in return. So we need to understand that financial instruments generate, or financial investments generate income for the investor. While we talk about economic investment, it's basically purchasing of new asset, or we can say that capital formation. It helps in capital formation in the economy. It's basically done by the industrialists. They invest in different productive capitals, different machineries or building, so that they can increase the production of their company, and that in turn brings capital formation in the economy. So these are the two basic types of investment. Thus, we can conclude investment as the leads to creation of financial assets, and investment in economic sense leads to creation of physical or real assets. So we can simply say that investment in financial instrument leads to creation of financial asset, that is in form of dividend or interest, and in economic sense, where we are investing in physical assets, we are generating more or more physical assets or capital formation for that particular company. These types of investments are interrelated and interdependent. We cannot bifurcate these, because these two are clubbed together in certain point of time. But for a better understanding, we need to identify whether this is financial investment or this is the economic investment. Now coming to why invest. So there are basically four important things when we talk about why an individual invest. Certain things we already discussed, like earlier I have taken the example, three examples of one farmer, one lecturer and one young employee. So all three of them are interested in improving their future welfare. Why? The teacher or the lecturer is purchasing 100 shares, 100 equity shares. That means he is getting a certain amount of dividend, and after selling that he will get a good amount of money in return. So he is focusing on his future welfare. Enhance our future consumption possibilities. Future consumption possibilities, if we invest in certain thing, we can better invest in future also. That means, suppose an example of lecturer. He has purchased 100 shares, he is getting dividend on that particular shares quarterly, half-yearly or yearly, depending upon the norms of the company. and after selling that particular share, suppose he has purchased this 100 shares for around 10,000 rupees. After 5 years, if he sells the shares, he is getting around 15,000 rupees. So there is an increase of 5,000 rupees plus every year he is getting a dividend. So future consumption possibilities will increase because now the principal amount is automatically increased. So what he can do with 10,000 rupees at present, after 5 years he can do with 15,000 rupees. So future consumption possibilities is automatically increases if we invest because we'll get better return in future. Manage our wealth effectively. If we have a huge amount of money with us, suppose some ancestral property is given to us, in that case also, if we have that money, we can invest in different properties or different financial instruments that are available, and we can expand our future consumption possibilities with that too. To protect our assets from inflation, taxes and other factors, that is also important depending upon the person who is investing. Suppose a young person is investing, he is interested in tax saving. A person who is earning, he is interested in covering the inflation as well as tax saving. So depending our requirement, we invest in different types of financial instrument. Now coming to nature of investment decision. So as it is mentioned in first point that investment decisions are premised on an important assumption that investors are rational and hence prefer uncertainty. These are again two important concepts. Rational investors means who think logically. Before investing, they try to understand the market or the financial instrument, take proper investigation of the particular instrument, and then they invest in the market. Just understanding or just expecting the information from others and investing is not a rationality of an investor. So when we talk about rationality, we means we logically try to understand the investment or different financial instrument. Hence prefer uncertainty because we know that particular, what is the nature of particular instrument. That's why we prefer uncertainty. If we don't know about a particular instrument, we can't go for that. Suppose I am not able to understand what is a cryptocurrency and I am investing. That is not a rational behavior of an investor. But if I know about the nitty-gritty of cryptocurrency and then I am investing in cryptocurrency, that is a rational investor's quality. So when we talk about the investment decision, it is very important that investors should be rational. He don't get moved by the sayings of other, and he prefer uncertainty. They are risk aversive. Just for the sake of taking risk is not a good idea. So investors, if he is a rational investor, he is a risk aversive person, and that means he would be unwilling to take risk just for the sake of risk. As I already mentioned, because he is a rational investor, he is risk aversive, he knows how much risk he needs to take, and then only he is going to invest in that different financial instruments or risky instruments. They would assume risk only if an adequate compensation is forthcoming. The investors, those who invest in highly risky instruments like future and options or currency or shares, they know that how much risk is there. They actually calculate that risk probability, basically. Not 100% risk can be calculated, but whatever the probable risk they can calculate, and on the basis of that, if they find that instrument is suitable for investment, then only they are investing in that particular instrument. And lastly, the basic investment decision would be trade-off between risk and return. How much risk a person is ready to take, he is going to get that much return. So suppose a person is risk aversive, he is not going to purchase any sort of risky instruments, he is going to get minimal amount of return. If he is a risky investor, he can take calculated risk, and on the basis of that, he can get higher return from the market. Now coming to next slide, that is characteristics of investment. So these are 5 characteristics. Return, whatever instruments we are investing in, we are expecting certain amount of return from that instrument. Risk, every instrument involves certain amount of risk, whether it is bond, whether it is treasury bills, whether it is promissory note, shares, cryptocurrency, derivatives, future option, anything. Every instrument covers certain amount of risk. So we need to understand that particular characteristics of instrument, then only need to invest in the market. Then comes the liquidity. Liquidity is very important for an investor because if he requires emergency funds, he can sell his stock or mutual fund immediately and get a return. It depends upon the nature of the instrument again. So liquidity means whether your instrument is easily sellable in the market and converted into cash or not. If it is not, it is not worthy of investment. Suppose a person invested in real estate. As I already mentioned, a young employee purchased a house. In my earlier example, a farmer purchased 100 acres of land. These are real estates. Now, if the person wants to sell that particular property because of emergency, is he really able to get the money on immediate basis? No. The answer is no. It is sellable in the market, but just if he required the money in suppose one day, it is not possible for him to sell that and get the money from the market immediately. It requires certain amount of time, certain rules and regulations are there, and on the fulfilling on that rules and regulation, he can sell the property in the market and get the money from the market. So liquidity is very important for investor. If he needs emergency funds, he can sell the instrument and get the money. Hedge against inflation. Every instrument try to give the hedge against inflation. That is also important because if the instrument return does not cover the inflation, it is not a worthy investment for the individual. And safety. It is also important that your money, whatever money you are putting in different financial instrument, it should be saved. Now coming to objectives of financial instrument, that is capital appreciation. We already know that capital appreciation means whatever principal amount you have put it in, it should be increased after a certain point of time. Nobody wants that whatever money, suppose 10,000 money is putting in the bank account and he only get 10,000 money after 5 years, that is not a worthy investment. So every individual needs appreciation on their capital. Current income. Some individuals require current income depending upon their age. Suppose old age people or people who are retired, they require current income in form of investment. So they invest in different systematic withdrawal plans or monthly income schemes or post office, so that get current income from that investment. Capital preservation is very important, that how much capital we are putting in different financial instrument should be preserved. Speculation. Some individuals also go for speculation and they require investment for speculation purpose also. What's the difference between speculation and investment? We'll discuss in later on. Tax minimization. For tax benefit also we do investment. And marketability and liquidity, as I already mentioned in my previous slide, that for real estate marketability is there but liquidity is less. For shares, both the things are good depending upon which company you are investing in. These are certain readings which we can go through. Thank you.